Hello and welcome to part 4 of Christian VenomFangX Lying to Christians and Atheists by the Stallion 76.
So who's got it easy? What's easier? Studying science, studying history, actually doing some research?
Well, any Christian who is genuine in their faith and wants to seek out the truth needs to study science, or should study science, history, and what was the other one?
Easier. Studying science, studying history, actually doing some research?
And, of course, we have to do research. We have to research the Bible. We have to also research answers to atheist objections to our beliefs, and even on the Islamic faith with objections to the Bible. So, not only that, my contention is Christians have to study their scripture. Well, they don't have to. We choose to. Study the Quran to answer Muslims. Study science as well. Study philosophy. Study apologetics ministry. Study church history, which would fall under history. And also study perhaps modern culture trends, why a lot of people in the 1970s turned away from Christianity and to religions such as Buddhism or Confucianism. I think a big part of that is the church really got lazy and was unwilling to answer people's genuine questions about the faith, and said stupid answers like just have faith or believe in this or you'll burn in hell, and people just had enough of that. That's just stupid, and we see no scriptural justification for giving such a lame answer like that. In fact, if you take the example of Paul on Mars Hill, he did the research of what the pagan cultures practice and what they did, and used their own sources against them. And so those days, need to be shoved under the carpet, because enough is enough. And another thing I think is the real tendency to hold on to the King James version of the Bible, where it uses thou, they, whosoever shall doeth thine whatever, a language we don't use anymore. So they needed to update the translation into an easier and more readable version. And I think that holding on to the King James version, as good as it is, kept people away from really wanting to read the Bible, just because they couldn't understand it, because it was kept in a translation that was hard for people to understand.
Or watching movies of Kent Hovind and then stealing the fucking literature.
He's not stealing from Kent Hovind. On Kent Hovind's website or wherever it is, I remember it specifically saying that this material is free to be used by Christians in apologetics ministry. And that's one important and beautiful thing about Christianity, is we don't charge people for the faith. You don't have to pay dawah. You don't have to, do these things. We offer them. My apologetics ministry, anybody can use the points I give. In people like William Lane Craig, and where is he? The writer of, it's on the tip of my tongue, the writer of The Case for Christ, Lee Strobel, and Kent Hovind, and others like that, is their points they allow other Christians to use in apologetics ministry, and anybody who charges people to use their points really is no Christian. We're not like the Simon Magases who want to buy or pay for the faith or how to answer people. You can take their answers. We share it.
Bullshit that he forked out and then pretend like it's your own work. You tell me.
It is VenomFangX's own work because he is going out and he is talking to people while he's doing his street preaching to others. And he doesn't use Kent Hovind's points point for point. He blends in various apologetics ministry. Are you not also stealing points when you do yours? Yes, a lot of it you have come up with on your own, but a lot of it, other atheists have said before in the past, before you have. Nothing new has been done under the sun. All of this has been done before and will continue to do so right up until the point where God puts a stop to it and puts an end to it.
How did I go from being an atheist to a believer in God? Like I said, and I'm not a typical example because I was raised in Hebrew school, so this might not apply to everyone, but I still think the logic is sound. I was raised in Hebrew school, so I believed in these Jewish stories, stories like Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, the Flood, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the Exodus, Moses, the Ten Commandments, Israel, Jerusalem, King David. If you haven't heard these stories, obviously you haven't read the Bible or you don't know much about.
Okay, this is really the crux of the Stallion's video here. He says that, well, there you go. VenomFangX said that he believed in all these things, and therefore he's not an atheist or an evolutionist. He never was because he believed in it. There are 2 points I want to make about this. The first is, he could have believed in it when he was younger, when he went to Hebrew school, and then when he got older, stopped believing it, believed in evolution, and then now he's come to Christ and also reaffirmed his faith to the Old Testament stories. The second contention is that he made a Hebrew evolution hybrid of the two, a Hebrewlution we'll call it, where he said, okay, where does Adam and Eve come from? We'll say God didn't create them, but the first people who had names when evolution, when they were able to vocalize and evolve to that point, were called Adam and Eve. Or it's just a way people, the Hebrew people, explain the name and how it came about. And things such as the Exodus, well, we do have historical documents that prove that the Exodus, that the Egyptians got slaves and they went on a slave raid in the Arabic and the around the Jordan and that peninsula, taking people and taking captives. And we have writings on hieroglyphic accounts of this and also in ancient ancient Near East area, that this is a common thing that they did. And that the ancestor of Abraham, well, somebody wrote about it. It's a good deal that he existed. Yet there's naturalists. He believed that there was naturalistic explanations for all of this. Like an example, recently the Red Sea parted, and it became like a peninsula across. And it's not that Hollywood version where in the movie you see it separate high up. And so that there was naturalistic explanations for each thing. Of course, it would be really hard to believe in that, given the scriptures, but some people do. Just as today, an atheist can very well believe that Jesus existed as a teacher and was a good moral teacher, and I know many that do. Does that mean that they don't believe in evolution? Many of them are very much opposed to religious practices and so forth. So I don't see that being a lie or a contradiction as you claim it to be. And I'm out of time.